Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to share this latest podcast episode. Today, I interviewed one of our clients who has worked through our Ending Body Burnout Method. She is just about to graduate because she has everything that her heart desires. She's got her health back, her spark back, her life back. And it's really beautiful to see that as you lean into the process that we've created, that not just symptoms don't just disappear, everything changes. Everything changes for the better. So the beautiful Kerrie has come onto the podcast today to share her journey with us. Now, Kerrie was so much fun to work with, first and foremost. She came to us in the depths of burnout from a lifetime of overdoing, and a lot of this was triggered by deep subconscious beliefs of being unlovable and hidden big T and little t, more so little t trauma, which we will dive into. She was also struggling with mood swings, anger, irritability, body pain, insomnia, and decade-long issue of fructose intolerance and different types of food sensitivities, so a lot of gut issues. When Kerrie joined our program, she almost ran away a month in. More on this on the episode. Kerrie will dig into why she almost ran away and how she overcame that challenge. But she stuck in there and she got remarkable results. Everything is better, her body, her mind, her relationships, and the way she lives her life. So I'm so excited for you to listen to her story, give her some virtual love as you're listening to it. And I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of people who resonate with her symptoms, her patterns, and the deep root cause that she really and vulnerably and openly shares. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I just want to remind you that we have got a free live coaching week experience starting, I believe it's next week if you're listening to this on the week that the podcast goes out. And it is called Rewire the Brain to Heal Body Burnout. This came due to popular demand when we put out a poll around options and thoughts for free training and free coaching. And Rewiring the Brain to Heal Body Burnout was by far the most popular. So I'm really excited. Chris and I are really excited to share our method, our process, and how you can rewire the brain and your whole self to resolve symptoms for good. We are not into Band-Aid management protocols. We really want to heal the body and the mind holistically so that you can have amazing results that last. So on day one of the 3-day event, we are going to look at how brain inflammation, so it's really hard to rewire the brain when there's brain inflammation, and the sources of inflammation in your body systems that impact the way that your brain is functioning. And day 2, we are looking deeper into rewiring your patterns. So why are you in body burnout in the first place? What are the beliefs that you have? What are the patterns that you're running? Where did they come from? And how can we rewire those deeper unconscious patterns so that when you do practices to really switch off symptoms in your body, brain retraining practices, it's actually going to work. And Kerrie and I talk quite a lot about this in our podcast episode today. So you'll get an insight in terms of what someone's journey through that actually looks like and feels like. And then on day 3, we're going to rewire pain signals. So really getting the brain into a sense and state of safety so that it can stop sending chemicals and signals down to the rest of your body to produce symptoms. And that we're going to take you through a really practical process that so many of our clients love and get a lot of improvement over. And again, we touch on this with Kerrie today. So make sure, jump down to the show notes to join the free live coaching week experience. It's going to be epic. We are very much not into just teaching and giving you information to consume and consume and consume, but to actually coach you, so that if you show up to this live experience open and present, you will receive some sort of a transformation, which is really exciting. We're also holding this live free coaching week as part of launch week for our Ending Body Burnout Method, which again, we talk about on the podcast today with Kerrie. So if you're not on the wait list for that, jump on over to the show notes, jump on the wait list if you are interested in taking a deep dive, holistic healing accelerator approach to healing your body burnout at a deep root cause approach. This is our signature program. This is how our clients get amazing results. It is the best way to work with us, and it's the only way to get really remarkable and deep long-term solutions to your health issues. So jump on over, join the wait list. If you're on the bonuses of being on the wait list is one, you get access to first dibs. So our program isn't just a course or a group coaching program. Sometimes people get a little bit confused about that. Both of our options for the method include one-on-one consults and coaching, because we want to make sure you get really personalized and individualized support so that you can get great results. So we only have limited spaces, so make sure you jump on the wait list and you'll get first dibs, because the doors will close when those spaces are full. And also, if you're on the wait list, you'll get access to a bunch of early bird bonuses that are valued at over $500, which is pretty cool. So you may as well jump on the wait list and get access to all of those. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and we're going to flip over to Kerrie's story, which I'm so excited about. Welcome everyone to the podcast today. I am so excited for this guest who is coming on our podcast today, the beautiful Kerrie, who is one of our awesome clients who has been working through our Ending Body Burnout Method. I think it's been a year, hey?
Nearly.
And you're about to graduate.
Yes.
Because you're doing so awesome.
Yes.
So I love talking to our clients and for you to share your story. You know that like in a lot of our group calls, we always start off with wins and looking, which is cool because we can celebrate each other and yourself. Sometimes we don't look at, we get a bit stuck with progress if it's small. So looking at those small wins is great. But also I love it for the brain and for rewiring the brain to really connect to the evidence that you're healing and healed, and also for other people to hear that story from someone else, especially if they're in the depths of body burnout and really struggling. So it's a gift to the world that you're giving to everyone else, because I know that there'll be a lot of people who resonate with some of the things that were going down for you.
Yeah. So thank you, Philly. I'm just super excited to be here. I really am. And when you asked me, I was like, oh, I'm a bit scared. But no, look, you guys have really helped me a lot. And I just really am happy to share a little of my story. Probably a lot of my story.
You can share as much as you want.
And look how you guys have helped. And with this body burnout program, it's really, really been good.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Let's dive into the start then. So when you reached out to us, can you just give the listeners a bit of an insight in terms of what you were struggling with symptom-wise, how it was affecting you and your life? What did that look like for you? Because you're in a bit of a, I remember when you came in, you saw the sign, body burnout. You're like, that's me.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, I'd burnt out a couple of times and had to have complete rest and had to, recover from that. And I was getting a little sick of the same stuff going down. I was chatting to my son one day, and he'd done part of Chris and Philly's program, and he said, Mum, you just need to get this sorted. You're a nightmare. And I went, oh, thanks, son. And he said, go and see Philly. She'll help you. And I went, okay, righto. He put it a little more bluntly, but I won't use the words he used. So it was, I went, okay, I think I better do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I came to find you guys.
Yeah. So in terms of like just connecting to symptoms, so burnt out, that looks like for you.
Oh, look, I was a bit of a wreck. I was tired all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep well at all, like 2-hour stints in the night, wide awake, and thinking, I just want to be asleep. And I think I said to you when the first time I came, you said, what would you like to change? I said, I want to sleep. And like teary, you know, I know when I get up in the morning and one little thing goes wrong and I'm in tears, I'm like,
yeah. And I remember you used the word anger a lot. I'm just angry.
I look after my elderly mum, and I was looking after my grandson as well, and I just found I would get angry so quickly, and mum has dementia, and I know that that's a struggle with her remembering things, but when you're repeating things over and over, I don't want to tell you this again and again. So, and whereas now, calm as a cucumber.
Yeah. So cool.
So different. So
cool.
different. Yeah.
So cool. And there was gut stuff going on for you as well, like the food sensitivities. Was it fructose intolerance?
There was fructose intolerance. There was gluten intolerance. There was dairy intolerance. There was, you name it, my body didn't like it.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I was like, what can I actually eat?
Yeah.
Because I'd get reactions, like itchy skin when I'd have a coffee. I, have something to eat, and I'm like, I feel like I need to go lie down, and all of these type of things, and I'm like, this is not right. And I had tried different things, but I was not in a good place.
Kind of like just living restrictively to try and manage symptoms.
And that would work for a short period of time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't lasting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And with the gut stuff, did that come along with all the burnout stuff, or that was something you had going on for a lot longer?
Yeah, the gut stuff happened quite a long time ago. Yeah. I'd had a bit of stress in my life, as we all do, but there's different types of stress. I had a marriage that failed, and that's when my gut stuff started. I all of a sudden, whenever I ate something, I just had to lay down. I became a vegetarian. I think that'll fix it. Become a veggie. That'll be great. So I was a vegan for a lot of years. I think about 20 years.
Yeah, wow.
And that helped. But then I discovered that I was gluten intolerant. All of a sudden I was sick in the tummy all the time. What's going on? So couldn't have gluten. Didn't want to have dairy because that was exasperating other things. So it's been a long ongoing thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. Was a bit over it all, really.
So things you tried before reaching out to us. So there was definitely the dietary stuff.
Mostly the dietary stuff. I did with one really severe anger burst to my poor son, who luckily
is this the one who then said, you need to go see Philly?
Yes. This was earlier. He was a bit younger, and he doesn't remember it, luckily.
Oh, wow.
But I just had to stop and go, hang on, I'm out of control. What's going on? So I went and saw a counsellor for, maybe 4 or 5 months, dealt with some of my past stuff that she identified. And that helped me for a while. But she did say to me, you'll have to revisit this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, that was the only thing I'd done other than diet, trying to control everything, and became a control freak. Which is another indicator that something is really, really, really wrong. So
So if we think about symptoms, so you mentioned the mood and physical stuff, and then there's what we call busy patterns as well.
Oh, look, I was the super busiest person and perfectionist plus. I prided myself in doing a job and doing it really well. to the point of just about killing myself to do it. And I'm like, I can't keep this up. This is just crazy.
Yeah.
But I had no idea why I was doing any of that.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing the right thing, do something and do it well, Kerrie, So my job, I did really well. I had a little business at one stage, did that really well. Yeah, just constant overdoing the patterns.
Yeah. And I remember a bit of people pleasing, more rescuing. It was more like, I am the superwoman and I'm going to fix everyone else's problems as well.
That's it. Or try to.
Perfectly. And so that I'm in control of everything.
Yeah. I was, for 7 years, I was a chaplain in a school, and I'm pretty sure they loved me because I worked my little heart out for those kids.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I had to fix them all.
Mm-hmm.
And unbeknownst to me, I realise now that because of my journey that I discovered through you guys, I had the empathy for these kids.
Yeah.
Because their story was my story.
Yeah.
And I had no idea.
Yeah.
So it was like when I discovered some of that stuff, I was like, oh my goodness, I now know why I cared so much about these little people and wanted to put them all back together because, I'd done a bit of psychology with my job training and things like that, so I knew the psychology behind it all, but I didn't know my journey. And when I found that out, I went, oh, light bulb.
Yeah, well, let's go into that.
Yeah, okay. It's very exciting, all of it.
I know.
The whole journey just
blows
me away.
So when we talk about the deeper inner work in our Ending Body Burnout Method, we have a specific process called Spark, which is what we call the metaphysical side of healing. So we've got the physical side of healing, really identifying what imbalances are happening in the body. We'll talk about your lab testing a little bit later because that's kind of exciting too.
It is,
finding that data.
Absolutely. I was most excited about that. Finally, I'm going to find out what's going on in my body.
Yeah. Well, most people do start that journey like that, and then it's like, okay, cool. This is just one very surface level part of the journey.
Absolutely.
Really important because it can help people. You know what? Let's start there, and then we'll get into the why.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I told you I'd sidetrack you.
No. It's all good. Let's just go like everywhere, wherever we need to go. That is where we go. Okay, so we'll get to the metaphysical side of healing because that's the big question. Why did the body systems burn out in the first place? But in order to give someone that courage and motivation to actually look into the deeper root causes, it's nice to have some actual data on a piece of paper to say, yeah, you're burnt out. Like your body systems are literally burnt out. Do you want to just Band-Aid it like with a supplement or a medication, or do you really want to resolve it?
And I wanted to resolve it. I remember you asking me that.
Yeah. You were very like, you know what? I've been on this journey for a long time. I'm done with Band-Aiding or managing.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so are you happy to talk about your lab test findings?
Yeah.
Do you remember what showed up? Because I do.
Yeah, oh, good. Well, I'm glad you do because when you mentioned that, I'm thinking, oh, gee, do I remember them? I remember one that was really significant and I wasn't surprised about was my adrenal problems.
Yeah, adrenal fatigue.
Because I literally lived on adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I worked. That's how I played. And so when you said your adrenals are really flogged out, I went, that doesn't surprise me.
I didn't need a test for that.
The one that I was most interested in is my sleep patterns and what was going on there. So that was the one. I wasn't surprised either, but I really wanted to know about those ones and how to fix that because when we got the lab test back, you said, which do you want to work on first? Sleep.
Because
sleep. I need sleep.
Well, sleep makes all the difference. Like that's when you repair, you recharge both physically and mentally. So it's really hard to get resolution or improvements in other things if you're not sleeping.
Wake up grumpy.
Yeah. Okay. So there was the adrenal fatigue, which impacts, like I'm just kind of connecting it back to your symptoms as well. That's really common to see mood imbalances, low energy, sleep issues with adrenal fatigue, especially the sleep because it interacts with melatonin, which is your sleepy hormone. And then it basically puts you in a state of fight or flight. So that's where other body systems can start breaking down, like the gut stuff, for example, and you can't rest and digest very good when you're in fight or flight.
No, I was very good at the fight.
I was thinking you were very good at the fight.
I think my dear husband, bless him, he's the kindest, gentlest man in the whole world. He was scared of me. I mean, it was that bad at one stage. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Oh, dear. I remember you telling me these things, but I still am just like, I can't imagine you being like crazy woman.
Yeah, crazy. Very, very. I'm sorry.
So then you also had the low serotonin. So that's a brain chemical which definitely impacts sleep and mood. So that's a really important neurotransmitter that helps with sleep and stable mood throughout the day. Do you remember what you said to me when it was time to start coming off the supplements that help support that?
I do. I was scared. But the good thing is I'm all off it and I'm still sleeping really well. So
yeah.
I'm like...
Which is so cool. And we'll get to the deeper root stuff as well. So if someone's not working on the deeper root cause work, then that's where sometimes you can become reliant on a supplement. But I'm just like, it'll be okay. You've done the work. You feel amazing. You're sleeping. Your mood is balanced. Your gut is great. You're eating all the things. Let's just come off it and trust that your body's strong enough to continue creating these things.
It was.
So there was some gut and detox stuff as well showing up.
Yes. So you put me on a quite a rigid diet, let's say, change of food, eating habits and things
for
like
a short period.
Which was actually not so difficult because I had been searching for ways to fix myself because I'm a research and fix it girl.
Yeah.
If something's wrong, I'm going to research Dr. Google or any books I can find. So I thought I've lost what I was going to say.
The diet. So you went on a diet.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
and we did some supplements to kill off pathogenic bacteria and
that
restore your good
really
bugs.
Good. Yeah. And I was really loving that because when I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. My girlfriend said to me, oh, my goodness, we'd go out for dinner and there's all these yummy foods, smorgasbords and things, and she'd say, you just don't even cheat at all. I go, why would I do that to my body? So I was really, really, really good. I said, Billy said she would heal my gut. And
you healed your gut.
Yes.
I helped you.
Yes. So I'm going to do as she tells me so that I can get this sorted. So, yes. So I was a good girl.
Yeah. But it's cool that, so are you happy to share where you went before you came here to do the recording and what you ate? Because I love this. You had waffles.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
Waffles.
I went down to the lovely local cafe here and I can't think of his name. It's Workshop
Cafe.
And they do have a fantastic range of gluten-free things. So I'm still just being easy with the gluten, but I can eat it now. I've had quite a few things. Yeah. But I went and had waffles before I came, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we went on holiday to Bali for 2.5 weeks. I ate anything and everything.
Yeah.
And not a single problem. We're talking Bali.
Yeah.
You know, and my gut was happy. My husband was like, babe, try this. Because he's a foodie.
Yeah.
He loves food. And when I go to a place, I can't eat there. I used to be.
Yeah.
Can't eat that, babe. What's on their menu? No, we can't go there. Can't eat there. Can't. That's absolutely distraction, poor man.
Well, it's nice though. It's nice when you then have this freedom and flexibility that you can still stay in tune with your body and like, what's the best way I can nourish and support it, but also I don't have to put a big fence around my gut because I can eat anything. Like I'm strong, I'm resilient, I'm healthy,
and
I'm
I've
balanced.
learned how to give my body permission. Like a couple of times I'm thinking, oh, should I eat this? My body's strong. I can do this. This is good.
I love it.
It was great.
So cool. Great. Yeah. So cool. Okay, let's dive into the why. So why the heck were you burnt out in the first place? Why was there adrenal fatigue? Why was there low serotonin? Both of those massively deplete when there's high amounts of chronic stress. Why were there all these gut issues and food fear and restrictions? What was the deepest root cause that you found in the journey?
It was a scary process for me to start with. In fact, I'll just share that how I started with this and I actually absolutely lost it. I just like
1 month in.
Yeah, I can't do this. this is, it was asking questions I couldn't even answer. What on earth am I going? I don't know. And I got scared, and I actually rang up Philly, and I was struggling with the technology. I was struggling with everything, which was part of where I was actually at. I just couldn't cope with anything out of what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Everything was too hard.
Yeah, overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Anyway, I rang Philly and said, I'm
out.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I'm leaving this. I'm running far away.
I can't do this. I just can't do this. She was beautiful. She said, okay, that's fine. She said, how about we talk about it and let's just do what you can. Mm-hmm. Good answer. And I went, oh, well, perhaps I can do that if I just do little. She said, let's slow it all down. Mm-hmm. Don't try and do modules in a hurry. There's no time frame. And I'm like, I don't think I can do them at all. And she said, well, how about we just do them together?
Yeah.
And it just took the pressure off. I went, I think actually I can do that.
Yeah.
So you were beautiful.
Aww.
You really were. She had the right things to say to me because I wanted to heal. I wanted to sort out what was going on, but I just didn't have the headspace to get my head around it at all. Yeah. And like modules and technology, getting it off to Philly. She said, don't worry about that. Just write. Yeah. And I'm like,
just do it the old-fashioned way. So, on a piece of paper.
and I think, and I was saying to Philly the other day, I didn't think I wrote a lot until I looked back and had a look in a little notebook. I went, oh, don't leave that notebook around for anybody to read. I was a nightmare. I had a little look back at what I'd written and, oh, my word.
It's so funny.
I was so broken. Broken.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So broken that I used to go to church. My husband and I go to a local church and they've been super supportive. And I get into church and I just cry the whole way through the service. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Yeah. So it was, it was a real journey and a spiritual journey as well as a physical and metaphysical journey.
Yeah, which I'd love to dive into that. But before I do, just a couple of things, because when you are not the only one that has felt like that, by the way, where it's just like, I've said yes, but now I'm like freaking out. Very common, yes, very common.
Very common.
For many reasons. One, our nervous system just doesn't like change anyway. So all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're not just going to take some supplements. We're going to change the whole way of you being. Because that's
how you
think, how you feel, how you behave, and deeper beliefs you have about yourself. So common for someone to have kind of like this, what am I doing feeling? Yes. But then also I'm always looking for patterns as well. So it's like, okay, I already know Kerrie is like an overdoer. Old Kerrie, by the way. Old Kerrie. She's got overdoing patterns.
Still working on some of them.
You're way better. Overdoing patterns, perfectionism, controlling. So it's almost like giving yourself permission at the start of the journey as well to like, it's okay to do it at your speed.
Yes.
And you know what? You can do it how you want to do it as well. And that's where I'm like, let's just modify so that it's safe to move forward. Like it's around creating safety.
Yeah. And that's what we did. And it was successful. Yeah. It really was. We just worked our way through. Sometimes I'd put a lot of work into it. I have a lot of time restrictions looking after an elderly mum and a grandson. So sometimes I'd have time and I'd do a lot. And other times I wouldn't do anything for the whole month.
Yeah.
Really, and get to Philly and she'd say, let's work through this. Because I'm done on my own.
But that's the thing. Like so many people say that when they catch up for their one-on-one, their monthly one-on-one, and they're like, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm tracking along good, or a lot of the time, so it's like, I haven't done what I said I was going to do, or I'm behind. It's like, you're never behind. You're exactly where you need to be. Yeah. And the work actually ends up being. So even though you might not have actually pulled open the online portal and written in your journal or done a practice, you're still being.
That's right.
Because you're constantly being aware of how you're being and then working on changing that.
So you're working.
So everyone always does the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you happy? So in our process too, we're getting to like a deep unconscious core belief because that ends up being the machine that drives everything. Are you happy to share a little bit about what that was?
Absolutely.
How you discovered it, how you felt
Yes.
when you found it?
It was when I discovered what it was, I rang my sister and I went, hey, guess what? This will be helpful for you too, because we all grew up in the same house with the same mum. And I said, so, because my root cause was around my mum. And look, I care for my mum. She's nearly 85, and I love her dearly. But I look back on her, how she raised us, and she did her best. But sometimes stuff happens, and some of the way that we're all broken. Somewhere along the way, she was struggling to be a mum, I would say. And I remember Billy saying to me, because I'd come up with a few other big T's, little T's in my journey, or just call them that. And I'm like, oh, is this it? Is this it? And I'd talk to Philly about my mum and how she liked to be very controlling. We can never quite come up to her standards ever. I mean, ever. And that long term, in my little mind, made me think that I was unlovable, because it didn't matter what I did, she wasn't happy. Like, you'd try and do something for, and it wasn't right. You'd come out ready to go to church, and you're not wearing that. That looks, just constantly. And for a little person growing up with that, and I mean, I left home early because of mum's expectations and things like that. So when I realised that, it was like light bulb again. Wow. Okay. So I rang my sister and said, do you remember this? She goes, yes. So important as to how because she's an overachiever as well.
Yeah.
And she's, a lot of different things. And one is my other sister, who's the younger sister, who copped a lot of mum's mental illness, because my mum has dementia now, but she's been a schizophrenic for 40 years.
Yeah.
A long time. So my younger sister dealt with a lot more of that. So once I identified that root cause, it was like, wow. It was exciting. And I talked to my sisters both about it. Went, this is where it comes from. It's in my brain that I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, and that explains the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Shows up as like, I got to do all the things so that people can like love me and accept me and approve of me, and
choosing wrong partners because wanting to be loved, and chose people that were not appropriate. And then that just cemented the fact that I wasn't lovable because they treated me terribly.
Yeah.
And, it went cycle along the way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's such an interesting one, because sometimes people are like, I don't even know how I got into that relationship. But it's like, well, your unconscious mind is controlling everything. So if it believes that you're unlovable, then who are you to be able to find someone kind and loving who would treat you like you're lovable? So it's almost like you just magnetize those types of relationships.
Yes. Yeah. Not helpful.
But it's good. Like the way you described that too, it's like it wasn't mum's fault. No. I'm not here because of mum. It's like literally as a little girl, I grew up in this environment, and I for whatever reason, decided to believe this thing about myself, which takes back your power as well. So you've mentioned a few times, like, we're all a bit broken. It's like, yeah, kind of, but also not when you understand this.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, I created this.
Yes.
So therefore I can create something new. That's cool.
Absolutely. And I don't feel like I'm broken at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a good feeling. And I look at my past now and think, I can use all that stuff in a positive way now. Now that I've worked it all out, I can use that crap in a positive way and build on that. And
yeah, I love it.
Pretty exciting.
So what did it look like for you to reprogram that deeper belief, and then also
it was
physical
difficult.
symptoms and patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is difficult. It's simple but hard.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it was some of what came up because when you allow your body to bring some of this stuff back, you've got these processes to go through to deal with it. Lots of sleepless nights. Took me a while. But it was a process. And then when I was dealing with these things, I felt like I was lighter and I was coming out the other end. And it was really, really, really good. And I can't remember some of the process we went through, but I do remember specifically Chris in one of his podcasts teaching ways of managing pain, because with a lot of this stuff, there's pain, physical pain as well as mental pain associated with it.
Yeah.
And he taught us some meditation, how to relax, how to breathe. And I use those techniques, the pendulation, the imagining your pain and getting rid of it. All of those things were crucial to me, and I still use them.
Yeah.
If anything comes up, I go back to using those sorts of things.
That's so cool.
yeah.
I remember you might have felt like your journey was slow, but I actually think it was really fast. But I remember there was like the mood and the sleep got better, and then the energy and the body pain got better, and it was kind of like, from a symptom point of view, it was the gut stuff and food sensitivities that came a little bit later. And that's where it's like you built this beautiful foundation that you're like, you know what? I am lovable. I am awesome. I am good enough, which also means my body is, and it's strong and it's capable. Like, did you do anything really specific to then be able to eat all the foods, or you feel like it was just everything that you had done had just snowballed and then it was all of a sudden like it's safe to eat food?
It was probably one of the last things that came, because I had in my head that it was going to take 6 months to sort out my gut. Maybe because initially the program was going to go for about 6 months, and I pushed it out a bit because I'd had a few hiatuses in the middle of it and different things. I don't feel I've done what I needed to do here, so I said I'm not ready to finish yet. But it wasn't until very late in the program that I went, you know what, Philly said to me one day, why don't you just try some of these other things? So I'm like, I was scared. I don't want to end up, my gut problems were so bad that if I ate something wrong, I would spend the next couple of days in the toilet.
And by wrong, it was even something like sultanas or something,
I
hey?
know, yeah, just something, or even a glass of wine.
Yeah.
It was like ridiculous. And my husband loves to have a glass of wine or make me a gin and tonic. And he'll ask me every night, baby, like a gin and tonic? No, honey. Remember, I'm not having alcohol at the moment. He says, when will you be able to? And I remember the first glass of wine I had, it was our anniversary. And that's when I realised, I'm going to be okay. We went out and he'd ordered a beautiful platter, and we went to a winery and some wine, and I went, Then I went, no, I've been doing this for long enough. My gut can handle this. I'm going to really enjoy this. So I had my glass of wine, no itchy, no tummy upset. 2 glasses of wine, thank you very much. And we had our platter, which was like a charcuterie board with all sorts of different things, and everything was good. No tummy ache, no in the toilet the next day. And I said to my husband, babe, I think this has worked. I was so excited. So then when we went to Bali, been a month and a half ago now, I just said to him, you know, I'm just going to eat everything because I'm good now.
Yeah.
And he says, awesome.
So cool.
Good.
I so love it. I so love it.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before this journey was also a spiritual journey for you. Do you want to touch on that? Because I think it's really interesting, your insights.
Okay. As I said, I have a strong belief in God, and I believe that in this journey, God uses, if I could say uses, don't like that word uses, but God brings people. That's a better way of saying. God brings people into your life to help you, and we're not all doctors, whatever. We don't know everything. Philly knows an awful lot.
So do you.
And I feel that my journey was part of God's plan. Philly and Chris have helped me understand what's going on with my body, and I've allowed myself to trust them and their wisdom. And part of that is in my belief is that because God's brought them into my life and He is helping me to heal with their knowledge. And Chris said I'm not sure if it was Chris or Philly, on one of our Zoom meetings, and this was a light bulb moment for me because I've loved God from a little girl stage. And so there were some questions in my mind sometimes as to why some of these things had happened. But Chris did a thing where he said, imagine. I love imagine, so I'm good at imagining. Imagine a table. He said, now, who would you want to be at that table with you? And that can be your best friend, it can be your husband, it can be a better version of you. Who would you want to be there? And straight away I thought, Jesus. And that was a little light bulb moment because I suddenly thought, I'm a believer that God made me uniquely, and I am loved, but I didn't believe it. And that's when Chris said that, and I straight away thought, Jesus, I want Jesus there because He loves me and accepts me. It was like, click. Oh my goodness, I've got to believe that. Yeah, I knew the mental head stuff that He did, but I didn't believe it in my heart. Yeah, I didn't believe in my subconscious mind that I was okay. Yeah, and so it was amazing. It really was that. So these things that were hidden in my subconscious were now coming out, and with the help of Philly. So yeah, that's how I see it. And yeah, it's quite exciting, really.
Well, it is, because I had a similar sort of journey when I was a little girl. I mean, there were a few different events where I created deep root cause beliefs about myself, but one was around weak and incapable. And I remember it was a time when I was sitting in church, and I really wanted to get up to, it's called like share your testimony. I was tiny. I was a little girl. I was nervous. I was scared. I'm like, oh, everyone's going to look at me. And I didn't. But I had this thought that, God's cut me off now.
No.
Like, I'm not good enough. I'm weak. I'm incapable. I'm a bad girl. No one said that to me. No. My parents didn't even know I wanted. Like, my heart was pounding to like go up and
do that.
Do that. Yeah. But that's the subconscious stuff. So you know, got older, it was still stuck in there, and so until you can love and accept and trust yourself,
exactly,
you're never going to believe that anyone else can, like anyone on this earth or higher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what it was with me. I believe God loved me, but I didn't love me. And my husband, like I said, I can't speak highly enough about him because he is such a darling.
I just met him for the first time and he's really sweet, but Kerrie always talks about him.
Oh,
you guys are just so cute.
He just builds me up all the time. But in my mind, I was going, you're just saying that. That's not true. Yeah. And I would downplay everything he said because I didn't believe it about myself. And now when he says it, I go, thanks, babe. Because now I believe it.
Now you believe myself. It. Yeah. It's that old saying, this is for the negative, but sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Well, they can if you already believe them about yourself.
Yes, yes. And we, as children, we do believe things. Our little impressionable minds take on things and believe them about ourselves and hold them so tight. And it's, about working that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've talked about a lot of improvements, insights, gold nugget moments, but was there like a specific time in the journey when you're like, this is working?
I think so many times I did think that, but I'm trying to think of the first one. I think after that one where Chris talked about the table, I felt different.
Yeah.
I felt, actually, this works.
Yeah.
This root cause stuff is so powerful.
Mm.
And when I started to understand that, it was like, I really, I can't believe how, and I started to be calmer.
Yeah.
Started to be, okay, I am lovable.
Mm-hmm.
I am amazing.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have never ever said that out loud.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So now
so cool.
I look in the mirror now and go, actually, I'm not a terrible looking witch or anything, because my visual impression of myself was not great either.
Yeah.
So
wow.
so I look in the mirror now and think, for a 62-year-old, I'm all right. Doing okay.
She's a good looker, I reckon.
Getting there.
But that's the thing as well, like when that deep unconscious core belief changes, everything changes, including how you even like literally see yourself.
So I have my whole life thought I was fat. I look at pictures and go, I was never fat. What's going on? What is going on? And I said to Richard one time, look at this. Mm-hmm. This was in a period of time in my life where I thought I was ugly and fat. And I was like, what, a size 10? Yeah. Skinnier than I am now. And I'm like, that's just silly.
Yeah.
So it was all, my head.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy, but very normal for the human experience.
Yes.
Like no one leaves their childhood unscathed.
No. True.
Even if you had the perfect parents, the normal upbringing is usually where a lot of people have all this hidden stuff and they have no idea why.
Yeah.
Because they're not giving themselves the permission or acceptance that, small t is just as big as big T in terms of the rubbish that it creates in the unconscious.
Yeah. And look, I've had some big T, and some small t, but it was probably what a lot of people would think was maybe a small t that affected me the most, which is, I mean, some of the big T they'd say, well, yeah, that would have affected you, but that wasn't the root cause. Yeah. Which is amazing. Yeah. So when I discovered that one, I was like,
things are gonna change.
That's it. So,
so what was different about the Ending Body Burnout Method?
Look, it's more holistic. Like, you don't just deal with diet. I tried that, didn't work. It's not just psychology. Look, I've seen a counsellor as well in this journey, who's been great. And once upon a time, I'd seen a counsellor a long time ago, and then when I got to this point where I really need help, I really, really need help, and that's when I got in contact with you. I also got in contact with Care Forward, are an organisation that help carers, and because I'm a full-time carer, they had often said, do you need some counselling? Nope. And then every now and then they'd ring up and say, how you going? Great.
Yeah. Put my mask on. I'm good.
Yeah. And then I went, actually, no, I'm not good. So I rang them and said, do you have a counsellor I can talk to? Because I'm about to do a whole journey and I'm going to hit physical, mental and spiritual. So I'm going to make sure every area is covered in this. So, and got a lovely girl. She's beautiful. And I don't see her anymore now, but she's there if I want to call.
Yeah.
But I've been really good. Yeah. And I also had a bit of prayer ministry as well. Let's get me prayed for. I pray for other people. Let's do the other way around.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
let's make sure this works. All angles.
All angles. Because we're such complex people. I mean, we're made amazingly. absolutely, mate. Our bodies, and that's one of the things you kept saying, our bodies are for you. Because I used to, stupid gut, stupid brains are not working. No, I'm not stupid. My gut is amazing. It's telling me not to eat that at the moment, or it's telling me take a break. Yeah. And so I've learnt through Philly, and Chris, I've learnt to listen to my body.
Yeah.
So now my husband often laughs at me. I'll be in the kitchen doing something. I'll go, no, it's time to lay down. My back's hurting. Off I go.
You can finish dinner.
You finish those veggies, babe. Feet up. And he goes, oh, okay.
That's so cool.
But
I love that.
I've learnt, though, there's a certain bit in my back that if I've overdone it and been on my feet all day, come 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock when I'm doing dinner, it just goes, no, none of this.
Yeah.
Go and lay down. And before I'd push through and then I'd just get crabby. And now I just go, feet up for 10 minutes and it's gone.
I love that.
I know, it's so good. Just listening to your body.
I love that. That's
it's so for us, not against us.
Yes.
And I loved when you said that because I'm like, and it resonates with my spiritual beliefs too. I'm amazingly made.
Yeah.
You know, try and make one of us ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So we need to listen to our bodies.
I love that.
And care for us.
You have become your own self-healer. And self-regulator. So when someone's healed and now it's like optimize and thrive and maintain, it's like, great. Now you're your own self-regulator. You're your own self-communicator. You have this like inbuilt communication pathway through unconscious, conscious body that will just like it's always going to guide you to happiness and peace and health and calm if you listen.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And listening is really important because we're not taught that. We're not taught to listen to our body when we grow up. We're not. We just feed it and hopefully get some sleep and don't listen to it.
Yeah.
And we end up in a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, last question.
Yes.
So if anyone's listening and they're feeling really burnt out, moody, tired, in pain, and they've been listening to this podcast and they're like, far out, I wish I could be like Kerrie. Or I really want to do this journey thing, but I'm scared. What are your words of wisdom that you would share?
I'd say we're not promised tomorrow. Make sure you make the decision to look after you and get help. Come and see Philly and Chris. It's so worth it. And I'll go back to what my son said when he was telling me the nightmare. He said, and we always have excuses. Haven't got time. When am I going to have time to do that? I haven't got the money. I think it's too expensive. He said, you cannot put a price on your health and your well-being. You will push everybody away because you're angry, you're miserable, you're complaining all the time. Don't do it. Just go and do it. Your health is so, so important. You've got to live your best life and we've got to look after our body. Yeah. Because nobody else is going to.
Yeah.
And we can't love other people if we don't love ourselves. And I mean, that's straight out of the Bible actually. Love yourself and then you can love other people. So, we need to look after ourselves. So get on the phone.
Get on the phone. I'll put a link in the show notes.
Absolutely. Look, and I've been telling a lot of my friends and some of them have rang Philly and come to see her and go, you're right. You're so right.
And some people doing awesome
Some of them
things.
have used can't afford that at the moment. Well, you can afford it if you really, really want to. So, yeah, it's just worth it. Even if you do part of the program, then you'll realise how good it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, no, these guys have been, I'm so grateful.
We are it's been such an honour and a privilege and lots of fun. You're lots of fun. You've been lots of fun to work with and I'm very grateful for you having the courage to share your story today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And I said to my husband when I was talking about doing this, I said, if one person listens and goes and gets help and learns some of these processes and does this ending body burnout, like I've got lots of friends that burn out all the time. One in particular, I just think, just come and get some help.
Yeah.
It's just so.
Yeah,
So thank you
it
again.
really is on the other side. And
Yes.
even in the journey too. Maybe at the
Oh,
start
yes.
you might be like, I want to get out of here. But
Yeah, that was me.
but you kind of then get to a bit of a flow where it's like, you know what? This is helping.
Yeah.
And this actually feels really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to pop in the show notes to some of those organisations that you mentioned.
Yes.
So they're
Yes.
counselling for caregivers, which I think is really important.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of carers that are burnt out.
Yeah. Carers Gateway, they were persistent and kept ringing me and checking on
Yeah.
me. So they were, shout out to them, they've done a great job. The other one was when Philly put me on a healthy regime, and I was into healthy food, but even more so, I sought out organic foods. So the biofarms people were brilliant.
Yes.
And the nut bank here in Port Sorell.
Yeah.
Bonnie and her little team there with whole foods and things was great. And my local church they were so supportive.
Yeah.
They really were. So, yeah.
That's so cool. Takes a village.
It does take a village, and we're not islands.
Yeah.
We are meant to have people around us and support each other, and it's good. It's great.
Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone who listened today. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.